Good morning. It's the 14th of December, 2022. It's about ready to say 1900 and go. Boy, going back in time, right? But what we're looking at today on the table, we're looking at Ark of the Kaisers Last Raider, which is a game designed by Joseph Miranda, and it is a Folio Series number 14 game by One Small Snap Games. This has been out since maybe 2019. I've been aware of it. Never bought it because I always thought it a little expensive. But I went ahead and pulled a trigger on it just because of there's not a lot that's been said about it, not a ton. And even though it's been out for a while, and it's a very interesting premise and a very interesting game, which we'll get into here in a second. Let's look over here. Let's try to read the blurb here, okay? Ark of the Kaisers Last Raider for short, puts you in the position of a writer of pulp fiction during the 1920s, in which you are trying to complete an adventure fiction novel set sometime during World War I on the high seas. You, the writer, are trying to construct a story arc in which the narrator of your novel, the commander of a German high seas raider in 1917, is trying to find a lost secret somewhere in the South Seas, which, if he can return it to a port in Europe, will change the course of the war raging in Europe. The objective is represented by an objective card. So that right there, my friends, is what I call an interesting premise, an interesting game coming from that perspective. Anytime I see a folio game with Joe Miranda's name on it, I go ahead and that's almost instant buy. Because Joseph Miranda, there's probably a lot that could be said about him, but one of the things is said, he does very good and unique games in a very difficult format usually, as a lot of his games show up in Strategy and Tactics magazine. That's a very difficult format, and yet he seems to always pull off good games, and they're usually pretty good. So we're gonna look at what's going on. He's probably by far my favorite magazine game designer. All right, so we're looking at it. We open it up, and it is a true folio. They've done several other of these games like this. I love that. Love the idea of putting an actual folio instead of just cardboard backings in there. Makes a lot of sense. All right, so got a couple bags. That's always appreciated in any game. Counters. Counters are okay. I mean, there's not a lot to look at there. Circular counters and some no, it's not even half-inch counters. You already say 5/8 counters, but a bunch of half-inch counters, those like 5 1/8. 5/8 inch of a counter. Tongue-tied this morning, evidently. They're okay. I mean, the writing's a little small, I will say that. All right. Right, and then we have another bag. Love to see that. Love to see bags just coming out. Let's see what we got here. We have, let's look at, find a rule book. There looks like there's a lot of stuff. Here's a map. Let's find a map and a rule book, and then we'll go from there, right? Let's look at the map. Map's obviously thin paper, which is one small step game you'll be familiar with. So not a ton to look at there, but evidently functional. All right. This is a solitaire game, by the way. So in case we were wondering, in case I didn't say that already, right? Here's a rule book. Let's see what we're working with here. Rule book looks like it's the terrain effects charts. Cool. It's always neat. Rule book we're dealing with 15 pages. All right. So table of contents. Man, the print's kind of small. I guess they do that to save on pages, which that's fine. I'll figure out a way to read it one way or the other. Cargo gear. We're talking about a lot of stuff here. All right. So here we have the sequence of play. Looks like we got outfitting, repairing, and medical phase. Outfitting phase, repair, medical phase, sub phases. Then we got intelligence phase, movement phase, port adjustment, sailing, plot card phase, combat phase, port phase once again. No, port phase. The other one was port adjustment. Port rating and objective phase. Okay. Cool. So that's the what I thought was the cool part of the game. You're a writer, and you're trying to come up with the ending to the pulp novel you've been writing, World War I pulp novel you've been writing. So that's kind of cool. All right. The objective. Let's go ahead and read a little bit about the objective. So no one is not. Look at that. Maybe you determine the location of the episode objective as a result of a mission intelligence or due to visiting all friendly ports. You then sail to the space with the marker to take action, which will resolve the mission per the objective card. Important, the objective card is placed face up after being picked. This way you can prepare it for recruiting gear and crew along the way. Okay. All right. So that's what we're dealing with that. What's this here? These are a lot of charts. Maps mob, there's a lot of charts. It's going to be Königsberg, Santa Helena, right? What are we looking at? Sinking ships here. Wolf. Okay. And this is upside down, whatever it is. That's your objective. It's your turn sequence. That's just your deadline plot fins. That is cool, man. You're coming up on deadlines. You're trying to get your book done. That's just so cool. Okay, so we have just charts here. Standard hit table, critical hit table, summary die rolls. Okay. Port encounter. What next? Rating table. Okay. Cool. Well, we'll see. And then here, what do we got here? Cards. Wow. I'm not going to take the time to open them, but they're cards done in this way. What you used to see a lot more than you do now. I don't mind them. But this is the card. I don't mind cards done like this. Avalon Hill used to have a bunch of cards that were kind of punch out. Objective cards. It looks like quite a bit of them, but that's what we have. I'm hitting my camera. All right. So that's it. I'm not sure how it's going to play, how it does play, but it's just quirky enough and just neat enough for me to have it. Arc of the Kaisers' Last Raider by One Small Step Games and designed by Joe Miranda. I'm going to try to play this pretty soon. Maybe tonight. I don't know about, man, let me tell you, had kind of a marathon yesterday. I didn't get to bed till about 5 a.m. because me and a friend of mine was playing that it's. I thought it was just going to be a pandemic reskin, but turns out to be a decent little game. The World of Warcraft, the Wrath of the Lich King. It's not a bad game. The reason I was willing to play it was I saw it on the Charles S. Roberts Awards on one of their games that would fantasy sci-fi games to be voted on. And so I have a friend that's a huge WoW player, and he had the game, and we play it, and it's a pretty good game. I might do a review of that sometime. I do not own the game, but I'll borrow it from him, and maybe do it sometime. But trying to get to this too. I got a lot of reviews to do, but this one right here, such a neat premise. Hope to get to it soon. Talk to you soon. Y'all have a great day. I don't know how the weather is. It's raining, windy and everything here. Raining hard. So I guess some of y'all out in the West and out places like that, or even up in the Midwest, have had having snow. So be careful. And we'll talk to you soon. See y'all later. Bye-bye.